Happy Spooky Sunday, everyone, and welcome to the 8th video in the Fair River Forest series. If you haven't seen the previous videos yet, I'd recommend checking them out first, and I've included a link to them in the description box below. Be aware that next week I will not be posting a Fair River Forest video. I'm planning on doing a Reddit Halloween special, which will come out on Friday, October 30th, and I don't have the time to script and film a second spooky video that week. However, Fair River Forest will be back on Sunday, November 8th. Also, if you're looking for some Halloween inspiration, I run a craft blog and a recipe blog, both of which are in Halloween mode right now. I've included links to them in the description box below in case you're interested. Anyway, on to today's video. Today's story is called Willow and Collin's Disappearance. From the police interview with Francine Howard, the night Willow went missing seemed perfectly ordinary. But I suppose those ordinary nights are where most of the trouble begins. On August 15, 2020, Willow joined her mother and sister for supper at around 5, an early meal in the Howard household, but Willow had requested it and Francine, quote, saw no reason not to oblige her. Willow was in good spirits that evening, chattering away about the photo shoot she was going to do with Collin and all the likes she was expecting to get on Instagram. She loved feeling beautiful, but the feeling was fleeting, one she constantly needed to stoke by producing new photos for her small band of internet admirers to fawn over. Collin arrived around 5:30 as the family was finishing their dinner. Willow invited him in, but he said he would wait on the porch until she was ready. There was nothing unusual about that either. The chill of Francine's glare can be nearly as intimidating as the woods, and Collin received nothing but cold looks from Willow's mother. Jane went out to keep him company, while Willow changed into her outfit for the photo shoot. Collin didn't have anyone in Fair River except Willow. The two had met in a calculus class nearly 3 years before, and Collin had moved up this way for the summer to be near his love. The only people able to provide information about Collin's disappearance were Francine and Jane, and Francine could say nothing more than she glimpsed him through the window. Jane, however, offered a detail that went on to fuel many of the rumors surrounding the disappearance. Willow and Collin were thinking about marriage. Jane was one of 2 people Willow had entrusted with the news of her engagement. She had found a ring she liked, and if you look closely in some of her Instagram photos from the days leading up to her disappearance, you can see a diamond ring on her ring finger on her left hand. She wore it when she was with Collin in semi-private settings, but took it off whenever others were around. Francine might scowl anytime she laid eyes on Collin, but her icy stares were nothing compared to Keith Howard's vitriol. Willow was waiting to break the news until she had returned to school in September, where she would be miles from her parents' reach. On that particular evening, Jane had sat with Collin on the porch swing and had congratulated him on the engagement. He had smiled and thanked her, although she noted to the sheriff that his smile seemed forced. She had asked him if anything was wrong. He had looked toward the house and said, "I don't want this to hurt Willow. I know things aren't great between her and your parents, and I feel like I'm only making it worse by being here." Jane tried reassuring him that he had little to do with Willow's strained relationship with their parents, but he seemed unconvinced. "I should be on top of the world right now," he had said, "but I can't help feeling like this whole thing is a disaster waiting to happen. The moment we make the announcement, all heck will break loose." Jane had asked Sheriff Mitchell to keep the news of Willow and Collin's engagement private, but he insisted that it was essential to the investigation. When the sheriff asked Francine about the engagement, he jotted in his interview notes that her eyes widened as her jaw fell slack. She was silent for a moment and then said, "That boy must be dumb as a rock. I don't know why he keeps wasting his time on a girl who's still hung up on someone else." You see, Willow had externalized her grief over Cam's disappearance more than most folks do when suffering a loss. Her semi-gothic aesthetic had originated as mourning dress, and each day she donned a gold heart-shaped locket with Cam's picture. She mentioned them on her social media accounts and had commemorated the anniversary of their disappearance days before she too would vanish in a sentimental post. Francine would say Willow had a, quote, flair for the dramatic, but that wasn't quite right. Willow felt her emotions deeply, and she was unafraid to bear them to the world, even if doing so made other people uncomfortable. Part of her heart belonged to Cam, and it would so long as she lived. But another part was devoted to Collin, and from the way she lit up when he came into the room, and the way she cooed about him to Jane, You could read her love for him plain as day. Francine didn't think much of it when Willow failed to return that night. Willow spent the night at Collin's place often enough. But when the next day rolled by with no signs of her eldest daughter, Francine's concerns started building. She tried Willow's phone that evening to see if Willow was planning on coming home for dinner, but Willow didn't pick up. So she sent Jane over to Collin's to talk to Willow. Jane arrived at Collin's apartment a little after 5 that evening. Collin's truck was parked in the driveway, but when she knocked on the apartment's door, no one answered. Then she tried Willow's phone and received voicemail. The gardens were in walking distance of Collin's place, so she headed over that way, but Willow wasn't there either. Jane knew in her gut then that something was wrong, so she called Sheriff Mitchell. All calls to the sheriff's office are recorded. Here's an excerpt of their conversation. "Hi, Sheriff Mitchell, it's Jane Howard. Willow's gone missing." "Calm down, Jane. What makes you think she's missing?" "She never came home last night." "Wasn't she out with that boyfriend of hers?" "Yes, but he's gone too. She's not answering her phone. And I went to Collin's house and his truck is there, but no one's home." "Maybe they're out on a walk or something. You checked downtown?" "She's not out walking. Something's wrong. She's not answering her phone." "Look, I can't open a missing person case until she's been gone 24 hours. Go check around and make sure she's not downtown or something and call back later, okay?" "Okay." The sheriff's wrong about the 24-hour thing, but Jane didn't know that, so she didn't push it. She checked around downtown, asking everyone she came across if they had seen Willow or Collin. As soon as 6 o'clock rolled around, she marched down to the sheriff's office and started her missing persons report. "You know, Jane," the sheriff had said as he was taking her statement, "most people who go missing, it's their choice. They don't want to be found. Willow isn't most missing people. She wouldn't disappear without saying a word. Something bad has happened to her. I know it." "What, like that shadow creature she was blubbering about getting Collin, or, no, the other one, Cam?" "I can't believe this. My sister is missing and you're over here poking fun at her for something she said after she lost her best friend. The woods are strange. You know this." "I ain't never seen nothing strange in them. The only monsters in this world, they look like you and me." Sheriff Mitchell missed the mark there. What goes on in Fair River Forest defies our current scientific knowledge. However, in the case of Willow's disappearance, the monster may very well be human. I think I've got an idea of what happened to her. Jane has the same idea. Let's hope she can piece everything together before it's too late. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving it a like or letting me know in the comments. I post new videos twice a week, funny or outrageous ones on Wednesday and spooky ones on Sunday. Except next week the spooky one will be coming Friday instead of Sunday so that it's here in time for Halloween. Thanks for watching and have a great day.